This video is brought to you by Women for Resources. We are a small charity based in Swansea in South Wales. We are going to show you today how to make one of these washable period pad holders. So this is the holder, and then you put some fleece inside it. It's all washable, and we're going to use a pattern that was taught to us by Deana Owen of Friends of Monze, which is a charity that supports a community in Zambia. So today we're going to show you how to make one of these period pads. This is the pad holder, and it fits into your pants. You can see it's got two little poppers on the side, and we'll just show you how you would fit them together. So a bit like any kind of pad with wings, you would fit that around your pants and then click the popper, and then on the other side, so the part that's next to your skin, you will put in a piece of fleecy material that's really absorbent. And then you can change that as much as you need to. But the pad holder itself has got a lining that is waterproof. And in a moment, we're going to show you how to make one. So there we are. That's the finished product that we're heading towards. So you're going to need 2 pieces of fabric cut out according to the pattern that will be in the comment section below this video. We've shown you the fabric here in relation to a piece of A4 paper, and you'll see there are 2 pieces of fabric exactly the same size. And then, as well as those 2 bits of fabric, you'll need a piece of waterproof fabric. We'll put a link for that as well. You'll need 2 pieces of tape or ribbon, and then a popper. So you might have this kind of sew-on metal type, or maybe if you're going to make quite a few of these, you might get some of these plastic cam snaps that come in all sorts of different colours. So we're going to show you now how to get everything set up before you start sewing. You've got your 2 pieces of fabric, and you need to put them right sides together, so the pattern side together. But before you do that, you want to place your 2 pieces of tape or ribbon as we're showing you here. So you've got your tape in place, and then you get your fabric and you put the right side next to the other right side. And then when you've done that, you need to put your piece of waterproof fabric on the top. The shiny side goes down towards the fabric that you're making the pads with. So the next step before you start sewing is to pin everything in place. So Margaret's going to show you now where to pin. So you want to keep those tapes in position. I mean, you might have those little clips or little pegs to hold them in place if you haven't got any pins, but we're going to go with pins to demonstrate to you today. So now you are ready to start sewing, and we're just going to show you where you're going to sew. So you're going to be leaving a gap at one end. So you'll start there where Margaret's pointing now, and then you're going to sew right the way around the edge, leaving about a 1 centimetre hem all the way around.
A little bit less.
A little bit less than that, making sure you're catching the liner material. You're going to go right the way around the edge, and then when you get to there, remember you're just going to come in a little bit so you leave a gap, because we want to be able to turn it into the right way when we're finished. Okay, so we're going to take you over to the sewing machine now. Okay, so here we are at the sewing machine, ready to start, and I'm just going to film as Margaret sews. So following around the edge. And you could hand sew if you wanted to, but we find that we're getting much better results with a sewing machine and much quicker. These are the tricky bits. If you're not used to using a sewing machine, then have a practice beforehand at doing those curves. Margaret makes it look very easy. But if you are confident with your sewing machine, then away you go. So you can see how she's just catching the liner material as she sews around the edge. There we go, nearly there. So remember, you're going to leave that gap at the end, ready to turn the whole thing in the other way. There There we go. Job done. Finished your sewing, and before you turn the pad in the other way, you're going to cut some corners off to make it all fit together a little bit more smoothly. Have a little look at cutting what Margaret's doing on the edges there.
Just a curve.
Just around the curve. There we are. So on each of the curves and on the corners, we cut the corners off and do little cuts in towards the curve. And that'll just mean when you turn it in the other way, it will all be easier to make it smooth and more comfortable for you to wear. And there we go, we're ready for the next stage. Okay, so now you're ready to turn it in the right way. So remember, you've left that little gap. It's a little bit fiddly, and you might want to have a ruler or maybe a pencil handy just to poke those awkward corners through. Yeah, so make sure those the wings are fully pushed out, and where you've done that cutting before, that should make that nice and neat. There we go.
If you want to just...
There we go. Here's the ruler just to really make those corners as neat as you can. That's it. And then we are almost ready for ironing. So we'll just show you how to fold the end in. Ready for ironing. Oh, there we go. And a pin to hold it in place. Right, so you're almost ready for ironing. A couple of things to check before you do. Make sure that both the tapes have ended up on the same side, and also that the waterproof fabric inside, that shiny side, should be facing towards where the tapes are. So, and then you can put a little pin in just to hold everything in place, and then you are ready to iron so that it's really smooth for your final bit of sewing. Okay, so we're back at the sewing machine, ready to sew around the edges one more time. We're going to start at the end that we've just pinned to secure the part that we left open, and then just sew. How far away from the edge are we going this time?
Let's have a look. As close as you can.
There we go, close as you can. Here we go. And there we have it. Just one last step to put the poppers on. Okay, so to finish off the pad holder, you're either going to use a metal fastener. So you can see we've put the two sides of the fastener in position there, and then you could sew those on. Or you might use plastic fasteners, and we'll do a quick demo now of how they work. So if you have got one of these machines to use these plastic fasteners, then here's how you do it. You're going to need to work out where the hole needs to go, and then use the bradawl to make a hole through. And then there's one piece that looks a bit like a drawing pin. You put that in first, poke that through to the other side, and then place one of the other shapes on the other side. There's two different other shapes, and then you get this little squeezy machine in the set. You just give a little press and that fixes them in place. And then just need to pay attention to make sure that you are putting them so that the two fasteners will go towards each other. So once you've flipped it over, you push again the drawing pin shape one through. And then you'll see that once you fold that in, that's where the receiving end of the popper goes. And once more, once that's in place, then we use the tool just to squeeze them together. And then our pad is finished. We're going to put the poppers together just to show you what it looks like when it's done. And there you have it. So remember, the idea of these is that you put a piece of fleecy fabric, and you can, that you could replace a lot more often, either during the day or as the months go by and you use the pad holder. But the pad holder should last a couple of years easily.